fire. I think there's a fire at a few places right now, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I apologize for the late microphone check. There's so much volcano porn to move through.
Well, we gotta zoom because we've only got like an hour and a half for this show, and we're running late because it's also Lexington Day.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have to backtrack.
Yep.
I mean, we can always like do another one. You know what I mean? Like it's not the end of the world one way or another, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not like we can't go over stuff.
And just in case, just to clarify, volcano porn is essentially showing lava and so forth. It's
This is our first one on Debate Hub. That's exciting.
Oh, is this like debate, geo debate, or is this what do you call it?
Debate Hub? Oh, you mean like what would we call the volcano show on Debate Hub?
Yeah.
Like the same way with the tavern?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows? Who could say? Not me. Did we lose Maanyaa?
Well, I mean... Oh, we're starting.
Great face to be stuck on there, Maanyaa. That's pretty good. Hi, everybody. Welcome welcome to Debate Hub.
Hello.
This is our very professional volcano show where we very professionally track a volcano in Hawaii, as you can see.
Yeah, well, I do have my volcano mug with the ash of from Madam Pele, but I also have with me a Pinot Grigio Amaro. This is actually from Canada. This is a Canadian wine. I recommend that Canadians buy Canadian wine, especially outside your province.
If you can get it.
Until unless you're able, yeah. Canada needs to basically buy its own wine and ship it across provinces because you've got some great wine. And this one, Glass House, which is just a little bit north of there, just over there. I highly recommend their stuff.
Nice. Maanyaa, how you doing?
I'm so proud of myself.
First time here, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm proud of myself. Everything worked. Finally. Everything worked after taking out so many of my fucking stuff that I brought from like New Zealand, like my fucking this microphone, and like finally the wireless one was like, okay, I'll work for you. All right, you're
technical difficulties. Well, so for anybody who's joining us for the first time, welcome to Debate Hub. This is our Volcano Watch show, which we do on the first Friday of the month, preferably at 6 p.m. And this show goes about an hour and a half.
Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern time specifically. Yes, specifically. Depending on your latitude and longitude, that might be a different time for you. We've already been doing this for about a year and a half or so, and there is a full playlist. If you want to go binge watch the playlist, you can kind of see us and see where the volcano is, where we've been tracking it. And this year it decided to explode while everybody was moving and we were setting things up.
Yeah, Madam Pele was like, are you not entertained?
Yeah, definitely. So if you're curious to know about volcanoes or track volcanoes or want to know what's been going on since 2003, you can feel free to check out the playlist. But this is the first one on this channel, but all of the videos that we've done up until this point are available here. So if you're curious about that, you can go ahead and find the playlist. This video will also already be in the playlist, so have at it. Now, let's get out of business.
Did you say?
What?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So again, if you watch some of our previous things, you might get a background of some of the terms. We have a lot of material to go over. I think the last time we met was in October. Was that right?
It sounds right.
Yeah.
Because we had
So Madam Pele, which is sort of the personification, of the volcano because the Kilauea volcano in Big Island, Hawaii has been quite active. And so let's get started because we have lots of material to go through and not much time. So the volcano right now is paused. It's been erupting. It started erupting on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, of course it's paused when we go live.
Yes, it's currently paused, but it's going back and forth. Currently, the emission tons are around 1,200 tons per day was paused. So it is fairly, there's a fair amount of gas coming out of the vent. Pele's hair, which is wind-blown volcanic gas, is definitely also in the wind because the vent is actually still has significant amount of liquid rock in it. It's essentially silicate strands of stuff. It's not good to breathe. If I assume Maanyaa can tell you about. We can't hear her, but I can tell you about. She could probably tell you about silicosis.
I muted myself. I'm sorry.
Maanya's a professional.
But
yes, silicosis. So that's a hazard there. It's also they're glass needles, and they can also be quite sharp if you. I had one stuck in my finger. You get glass in there, and it's hard to get it out. It's a pain. So, if you look at the tilt meters, we of course pay attention to deformation. We've been seeing events like this where it's not quite the V, but if you look around at the past month, you see these deflation inflation sets. It tends to be a little bit more linear on some of the deflation sets, which is kind of curious. But again, it's quite active, right? The magma chamber underneath is turning over quite rapidly, and we can see this up and down thing going for a while. If it had gone back there, you would have seen a number of other items. So the blue is at the summit. The green one is at Pu'o'o, which is down a ways and away from the eruptive area. From a GPS standpoint, the eruption started right here at this spot, and you can see that it has a slight a drop. Generally, this is the distance across the caldera. And when the eruptions start, they tend to have this drop, right? The summit sort of shrinks in, and lava comes out. So we saw.
Do you mind zooming these in a little bit for us, there, Landon? Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
So again, these up-down sawtooths, and here, if we look at this material, we can see again. This was the beginning of the eruption right here, eruption phase on Christmas Eve, and it's had these on-off sort of things. Again, it tends to drop. These are trailing indicators. Tend to drop when the eruption starts. Lava comes out. The mountain underneath contracts because it's squeezing up magma and turning into lava. On the larger scale of things, the 5-year stuff, we can see again this particular eruptive phase. It's not a brief one shot. It's actually come and gone several phases at this time. I remember from back then, we had an eruption that was lasted only 11 hours out here at the Apu crater. The ground was expanding here and widening to the point where it actually had a crack and lava came out into the crater. And the Kilauea volcano summit, which is right here, this is where Haleʻimaʻamaʻu is, subsided. So magma was moving this way down the pike. You can see in terms of distance wise, down the rim and widening here. So we thought was happening. In October, we saw again continued uplift around these craters and dropping down at Haleʻimaʻamaʻu. So the assumption is that the magma was on the move down the east-west zone and and breaking open certain places. This is where Pu'u'o is right here. That was the spot where most of the lava came out during the 35 and a half year Great Eruption, which was from January 3rd, 1983 to sometime in August 2018. So that was current situation. So magma on the move, cracks, some lava coming out of brief spots. So what do you think happened? Well, Pele, I'm going to go back up to the top again. I'm going to go back up to Halemaumau, and we had a very rapid inflation and expanding here. Again, each of these little color bands represent about 2.8 centimeters. It's about an inch for those metrically challenged. We had this zone here. So the area was bulging out, stopped bulging, and the summit expanded quite a bit. And then on the Christmas Eve, we had some eruptive fissures that came out in this edge, right? If you look here, this was the spot where it came out. Again, coming over to here, here's the summit of the volcano. This is each rift zone where we thought essentially the magma was moving down this line. That stopped, came back to the summit, and erupted at events here in this this area, and it quickly filled the floor of Halemaumau. It was a very rapid eruptive event, and this purple here was the previous lava flows that occurred back in September 2023, and it had not really done much, but the fissures opened up here, and it not only, if you look in terms of it not only did it go a couple of kilometers, but also reached a thickness of around 3 meters. So we had about 3 meter covering over a period of area of around 265 hectares or 650 acres. So it was a large volume that covered a large area quite quickly. If you look thermal-wise, you could see again the fountains. Here's again, kilometer scale drawn over here. You can see the fissures came out here, and the lava just poured out into this area. The reason why it didn't really reach up this area, this down drop block is actually above the Halemaumau crater floor. And so that's what it looked like
in December, right at the end,
right
at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Right at the end,
and you
right
can
at the beginning.
see. Yeah, and you can see right here. The second thing, I had been contemplating doing the sitting in. There are a number of Hawaiians that like to go for the holidays to visit Alaska, or to visit the British Columbia, or to even Washington State for snow stuff, right, and winter vacation. So I oftentimes will go there and volunteer to essentially stay there over Christmas, have Christmas there. I didn't this time because of the construction of what was going on here at Treehouse, but that was my loss, because it would have been a great time to have been there. Nevertheless, that's what happened on Christmas Eve. By the time 2 days after Christmas, this area here had started to cool hard again. This area was still fairly slushy, and the activity was confined to event.
I like the term slushy to describe lava.
Yes, it is not like a 7-Eleven Slurpee. You don't want to slurp this stuff, but it. And then, of course, on the 30th, it starts again and floods. Although here it doesn't flood as much. And this has been this thing about starting, lava pouring out, going for a while, stopping, a couple days later, starting again, stopping. If you look on January 2nd, we had another really significant fountaining that occurred. And here, now again, the total lava extent had reached 272 hectares, 673 acres. and the average thickness was around 12 meters or 40 feet. So this total volume
12 meters,
by
that's a lot.
Yes, it is. It is the volume that came out from Christmas Eve to January 2nd was 15 million cubic meters, or about in excess of 4 billion gallons of lava.
In a number of megaplates.
Whoa.
I would say
Yeah, how
yes.
many washing machines?
Yes. Well, let's see. If there are 8 pints to a gallon, then there would be 32,000 megapints of lava.
That's a lot.
Yes. Now, in terms of we determined that a washing machine was roughly a cubic meter, so this is about 15 million washing machines worth of lava that came out. This is to January 2nd. So she's been busy. Again, really nice overlooks here where you can go and look. Go to these spots. You can fly into Hilo because Hawaii is over here. Fly into Hilo. Drive 40 minutes from the airport up. Pay your park entrance fee, and you can go and overlook several of the overlooks here from this side, or even if there's a trail that gives you a nice overlook on this side too, to give you a nice overlook. Again, it's lava down in the pit, not bothering one, and it's a nice tourist attraction. That's January 2nd. Again, off again, on again, off again, on again. Here is another case around January 15th, another active event and lava coming out. The volume had increased from, and here again, there was a major surge again between January 2nd and January 15th. We had a show at that time. You would have seen enormous amounts of lava coming out because remember we said 4 billion gallons, 15 million cubic meters. By the 15th, it had expanded to 24.5 million cubic meters, or 6.5 billion gallons. So it had there was almost a doubling of the lava between January 2nd and January 15th. The average thickness increased to 22 meters. So again, if you look at this, 300 meters here, these number of kilometers, now the thickness layer is around 22 meters. Again, 24.5 million washing machines of stuff. Hey, look here, and let's. If you look at the cross section, here's a cross section showing there. You can see where the new lava has been forming here. This again is a cross section. This is the big pit when the because the gray line is before was what the summit looked like before the end of the great 35.5-year eruption, before the 2018 collapse. It collapsed down to a deep pit that was almost 500 meters deep, or 640 feet. And it has slowly filled up since 2018. This last set has added another 22 meters. Now, it still has, you can see, a ways to go before it spills over the side. But that's not, given the rates of stuff, that's not too far. I mean, the fill depth around has around 411 meters. So it has roughly, depending on where you are, another 90 meters to go or so, 90 plus meters.
And what's 90 meters in freedom units?
Well, let's see. 50 meters around 100.
You really gotta rub it in, eh? You really gotta rub it in.
We have a lot of Americans that watch this show. Don't at me. They're not gonna know what 90 meters is.
Well, but those that are metrically challenged, you can you can cure your metric
That's why I
challenge
avoid it.
problems by just using it.
Cure your affliction.
Anyway. That being said, so if you can see but you just in terms of the items, even though it's gone roughly 4/5 of the way up, there's more volume here. Right? There's assuming more volume here that's got to fill in. So it's getting harder and harder for it to rise significantly because it's got to have wider and wider volume. It'll get there. And again, this has happened since 2018. So 6, and it'll be roughly 6 years come August. So it's fairly rapid, geologically speaking, of its refill. When might it overflow? When might it reach this summit? It's hard to say because now what's happening is there's so much, rock that's in semi-soft state here that's acting like a plug. There's a lot of pressure. This area is going to start deforming as magnet pressure keeps fighting against all of this material that it has put up. Again, if you look at this is like a kilometer or more across, and a third of a kilometer deep. It's a significant amount here, so it's gonna rise up and overflow, but it'll take time. So right now we have a current case of the vent splattering. Here was February 3rd with inactive sort of solidified lava. Again, too hot to walk on, because it's showing there. And then February 4th, it erupted again and spilled out and stopped. So, but let's look at some things of what actually happened.
Still, on February 4th, it still looks hot. Like it's not cooled down. There's still like maybe.
I mean, this is
activity underneath it.
And you see those hotspots here too.
Yeah, but if you go to the next day, like from February 3rd to February 4th, look at that's the heat radar, right? For both, it's the same one, right? So yeah, look at the temperature difference.
Oh yes, quite a bit. And this, of course, goes down. This is the case you actually have active vents that are pouring.
Yeah.
Lava out and reaching, kilometer or two. It's reaching up. It's doing a fair amount of stuff. You have these river channels and so forth that are pouring in this area. Also we look at, and then you look at on the 7th, the current map. There we have currently vents these two vents are paused. Now we are at the case where the volume of lava has reached 39.9 or almost 40 million cubic meters since Christmas Eve. 40 million washing machines worth of has come out of these vents. The average thickness now is 33 meters or 108 feet, covering 281 hectares or almost 700 acres. An enormous amount of lava. That's 10.1 billion gallons of lava has come out since Christmas Eve. It has been an enormous outflowing. Again, you look at stuff. It's beginning to fill up. There, this dashed line was the old. That dashed purple line you see here. Let me zoom in even more. If you look at the dashed purple line, this was the old venting system. We had some vents that poured in this way. It is well exceeded that old vent, and it's beginning to rise up onto this down drop block. It has a little ways to go before it gets to the main part, and even more before it reaches out here. But it's on the way up. Here is what it looks like on the 15th. So that's January 5th. Again, you can see the set here. But I want to show you as far as the current activity.
Hey, don't start talking about military camps. We're gonna have this isn't the tavern. This isn't debate pub.
Yeah. This is an old. It's called military camp. It was an old base that was there, and it's now you can stay there. Also, some they also cater to service people. So camp area. It's a nice little spot to go. I prefer the other views of the caldera, and it's more historic. But so is the military camp. It's a name. Earthquake wise, there's not much earthquakes going on. It's fairly seismically quiet. There's only like 15 quakes in the last 7 days, and these quakes are small, like magnitude 3, 2.3, 2.4, 1.6. So not very much in the way of earthquakes. But let's look at the actual some images of what. So this was taken on the on Christmas Eve. You can see
This is the porn you were talking about.
Yeah. I'm going to take off my thing so we can hear, because there's no audio. Hopefully you can still hear me. Hello?
You're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So there is the lava having poured out along the Maanyaa floor. There were a couple of also dikes. And if you go to see the eruption, be sure to go there at night, because you can see a lot more than daytime stuff. The vents were actually quite bright, thermally speaking, and optically speaking. So it was saturating the camera, trying to get some of the more pretty pictures of the lava moving out. Because the air is so cold relative to the lava, that it freezes over quite quickly and forms crusts, but you get these nice fractal patterns that come out. So this is what it looked like on the thermal camera. You can see Hawaii time. We're at 2 in the morning on the 23rd, and this is what happened. And see quite a fountain, and quite these fountains were about 80 meters tall, about 210 feet high.
80 meters. Beautiful. Beautiful. Madam Pele walking into the new year with a blast.
And so you can see in this thing again. This is so that was between 2 and 9 Hawaii time, and you can see how during the daytime this is what fresh lava looks like. It's only red if it actually has enough volume and moving fast enough that it hasn't yet begun to. Whereas during the night, you get much. You can see the cracks in between. Those cracks are there in the daytime. It's just harder to see because of the light. Here's another view of this particular thing again on the 23rd coming in. It starts around 2, which is around now.
That's fast.
Look at how fast it put out, 16
It do
million.
be zooming.
Wow.
Comes up, you can see the surface moving over again and again and again and again. These fountains really pouring out the material with.
And we were wondering what Madam Pele is up to. Remember, till like September, October, we were like, what is she doing? Like, where is all the activity? Like,
something's
just
up.
under
Something's
the
up.
surface.
And a lot of these things
and Madam Pele was like, shh.
Yes.
Sorry.
And there's a lot of things where it would start and stop. But when it started, you have these. This was another restart the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, where it surged up again. And you can see again the extent, the several kilometers extent. This is as old those old on floor vents that occurred where it poured out into this region from this area. We had previously had eruptions over here. Remember, if you look in this spot, this was an old vent that poured in on the side about 2 years ago. And then these vents go, and now we have these vents. From a point of view, again, of the, Mark says this is part of an overflight, where you can see again the vents. This is the case where it had kind of stopped, but on the 27th, but it'll restart it again. Giving you sort of the notion of how far it has to go, but it's gone about 4/5 of the way up, so it will eventually reach the top. Again, if you see it at night, you'll see, even when it's not erupting, you'll see this glow, the cracks. So when you talk about things being sort of pasty, hot, too hot to walk on, and cracks open up as it outgasses, and you also see the glow from the actual vent itself. Again, you see the set. So that's often a thing if you go there and it's not actually fountain at the time. And then here's something that looks like in the daytime where it had restarted again, and pouring out material.
Are you calling it material because it's not lava anymore, or are you calling it material just as a technical term?
It's a technical term. Rock.
Racks.
Baby rocks.
It's all racks.
Baby
Newborn baby babus. Babu rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's another thing showing you. I believe this was in mid-January, and you'll see again what it looks like, and you'll hear the So those two events that seem to have established the eruption, that chain that was a little bit on the side. Remember, at the beginning of stuff, we saw some look like potential cracks along the wall, but it has concentrated onto these two vents here, but have now been luminous. And again, the sound you're hearing is a result of the shock waves of the wind from the lava shooting up and resulting air shock waves. Again, enormous amount of volume coming out and flooding the crater floor. Lots of observations there. This is on the 29th of these sets here. Again, it's in this nice low pit, not bothering one, and it's quite a nice thing.
That's close, eh?
Where are you? Where people visit and see, you're not quite at this edge. You're around the side and it's a little more fiddle.
What was the gas output around this time? I can see there are some meters.
We saw volumes that were in the 20,000 to 50,000 tons per day.
No, at this point when the picture was taken.
I think these are in the around. This is around 5,000 tons per day, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. It was closer to 10,000 tons per day.
That's over 9,000.
Yeah, but it is a yes, but it is Maanyaa. Right now it's around 1,200 because it's not venting.
Yeah, so that's just a curious question, right? People might get the impression, oh, you can still go there even if it's erupting. No. This was carefully planned, and the gas levels were checked before they went on there and decided to take pictures or take videos and stuff. So don't be fooled.
The person has gas things for emergency stuff here. There's also sensors going on. They're doing some double checking of the sensors.
Yeah.
Where you see the visitor spot, the visitor location, if we go back over to let's look at the map again. You can certainly see the certainly see the let me go to a spot here. So what you were seeing was somebody standing, a USGS worker standing in this area here, down.
Okay.
Down where the H is here in this region.
Okay.
The public overlook is in this area here, or you park at the end of this road and you walk out here, easy walk, to this spot overlook. These are very stable spots. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so where your team was doing the recording, so they're recording the eruptive vents, aren't they? That's what they were recording?
Yeah, right in this area. So
yeah, so you guys were recording the eruptive vents, right? That's what I'm trying to.
Yes.
Okay.
We're recording these two eruptive vents here. So we were seeing that these are images you're seeing this of these two vents. In this region here, you saw the helicopter flight. This is this road that you saw behind it. If you remember from the one that has over that's the road that used to go around the thing, but it's been somewhat deleted. So landing in this area here is easy hike because, but from a point of view of the road, come to this trail here, and it's only about maybe a 2 kilometer walk out to here, a fairly easy trail to see. You can see from this spot. If you're not into walking, you can go to this overlook or this overlook and see down into this area as well. And again, in terms of the what you see, even during the daytime, when you talk about the lava quickly freezes over and develops a skin, and you see these breaks here. So this is not advisable to walk on. Here is New Year's Eve. Again, we see another case of eruption where here's the two vents and pouring out over the floor. Even bright enough, it's enough material and bright enough you can see the cracks during the daytime. Here's another case. I believe this is closer to, if I recall correctly, this is in beginning of February. Again, these are about 80 meters high. That bird, by the way, that flew was nearby. The bird was not down. No birds were snuffed out. That bird you see right there was in front of us, right?
That bird is playing a dangerous game.
That bird there, yes. Yep. They're in the forefront. Here's another one, again showing what a sort of event looks like. So you can see this is somebody, and I wasn't too thrilled, but somebody had actually gone to the E spot here. But I don't think you get much data there on this region. You're better off seeing it on the side, but that's just me. You can see looking down in, you don't get a good view. Here's
this can be a great setup for a D&D campaign.
Yeah, from the side here. So here you see this is around 15,000 tons per day of gas coming out.
Damn, that's sexy.
The magma lava is just below the surface, and you're just getting outgassing from it.
I like Alex's comment The bird has intact preservation instincts. No government drones were harmed in the making of this footage.
There you go. And if you go during the time where say it's not erupting, this is what you would see. The material here is crusted over, but again, a very thin crust. At night, you see cracks and glow coming through the area. It is still worth going to see, even at this stage. Who knows how long it will continue to erupt, but again, you can stay at Volcano House, or you can Volcano Village, right close to each other, to this area. A small park entrance fee that's good for the entire week, and you can go and visit a daytime and at night. I would recommend going to both. It's a fairly easy thing to do.
Remember, if you're gonna go traveling, be respectful.
Yes, please be respectful. Landon, just confirming, you can go at night also.
Yes. Our park is 24 hours a day, so you can go at night and see that thing.
Nice. Imagine going there at night and looking at this view.
Pretty. This particular overlook here, you get a really good view of this area here. You see this thing on the side if there's actually erupting, but you'll see the glow. From a place like Kailua that is on the west part of the thing of that big island, you can see the gas coming out. And if we talk about in terms of again, there's on the website there's a number of webcams where you can see live stuff. So here is a live view of a live image of what's happening. These are these two vents, and right now this is right about 1,200 tons per day coming out. But these vents have been starting and stopping. So, but again, if the eruption could completely cease tomorrow, you never know. Here's another case this is from that trailhead. Remember, I mentioned there's a trail you can go out to the south of and see, and this is the view you see from that trail area. You get sort of a broader view. The other spot you see is from this area in the rim. Nice far back sail spot where you can see down here as well. Air quality wise, again, the trade winds tend to send the gas to the southwest, and so from areas where people are, it's not very hazardous. Downwind, there are problems, but the that area, the area of these spots have been essentially pretty much particulate and sulfur free, because the winds tend to send it away. So it has been it's been quite a ride. Madam Pele has put on a great show. Let's see, back here, and
it was so comical. It was comical when we decided to take a break, right? Because of the circumstances, and Madam Pele was like, right, really, you don't wanna give me attention anymore. There you go. And I was so mad at Madam Pele at that point, but I'm like, then later I was like, this is typical Madam Pele. This is typical Madam Pele. When you least expect her, she starts dancing.
Maanyaa moves, so I'll move too, right? I'll show Maanyaa how to move.
I'm already I'm gonna show the moves.
Like Jagger.
But it really is. It's been very impressive, the amount of lava that's come out. Again, from the beginning of the year to now, it's essentially doubled in volume. So even though it's been off again, on again, sort of thing, the amount of material that's come out is been enormous. And the fountains up to 80 meters, 200 feet, have 200
so it has
feet or so.
Risen up how many feet? Can you remind me how much it has risen up and how many meters it has risen up, the whole level of the crater?
As I recall, the depth has been. So I'm going to get the last measurement on February 3rd. 33 meters is the thickness, maximum thickness around there. So around 108 feet. And February 3rd, it's been 39.9 million cubic meters. That's 39.9 million watts.
Did you guys get OB's question in the chat?
So
he asked at what point is it inhospitable to visit? So a lot of that'll have to do with like the wind and the release of gases and how much there is of that. But there's lots of equipment there to ensure that people are safe.
Yeah, the gases are not.
So the park will give out warnings and will close down if it's not good enough for people there. I'm quite sure.
But there's strong winds. The gas is going to is traveling to the southwest, and you are on the the north or east of it. So you're not in the plume. And if the wind shifts, you can move. It's not like you're gonna die immediately. People who might be sensitive to asthma should pay attention to the Park Service's warnings, but there hasn't been any days since the eruption of having warnings for visitors. It's actually quite safe.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, this volcano is one of the most tracked and the most like watched volcano from like a technical standpoint. It's got cameras on it, it's got seismic, it's got basically everything, as opposed to, I don't know,
gas meters,
white,
everything.
which has almost none of those things. So I would not recommend going to check out the New Zealand Australia volcano island, but in Hawaii you're gonna be pretty safe as long as you're...
don't go there. Not White Island, please. No.
Yeah, don't go to White Island.
Let me remind you that there are hot geysers out there that shoot out steam and water, and then you have the gases coming out of the volcano itself. When these two combine, we get acid. All right? You get acid. So don't. No. Even if there are tourists, what do you say?
Like boats.
Yep.
Like tourism boats and stuff and helicopters that are offering you rides, at this point, I would say refuse it. If they don't have any information on how much steam is coming out or gases are coming out, any type of that information, if they don't have it for you, do not go there, because don't risk it. People have died.
Yeah, Hawaii is and Mount Pele are going to be one of the safest places you can visit, and you will likely have a lot of warning before you need to be concerned about it being inhospitable, either both as an island itself or as an individual visiting. If you mean like when will the island itself be inhospitable, it's likely never, because the volcano is moving. So if you look at a global map, if you pull up like Google Earth and you look at Hawaii and its chain of islands are the volcanoes moving. It's the shifting going on. So it's just hundreds of thousands of millions of years of processing.
Yeah, and I think again from a safety standpoint, the last time the park was closed around 2018, and that was because they were having almost daily magnitude 5 earthquakes as the sun was collapsing. So that was a precaution where they kept it out. But it's been open since then, and the winds are there. When you talk about the gas mass, you talk about scientists moving into this H area here. They were in this region, down below, down in the part of the pit as a precaution. The winds were traveling in this direction, this way. So they were in a safe place. But if the winds shifted, if you're on the rim, there's these are contour lines in hundreds of feet. So there's almost 300 feet, almost 100 meters down or more into the pit, where you safely visit and look in. Let me go zoom out a little bit. You are at the safest spot at this overlook here. right? And so again, from a distance wise, you're almost like 2 kilometers away. You are upwind from the vent, and you get a view of this. It gives you a good, here you get a good view of the lava pool and the lava pit. From the Kilo overlook over here, again, you're up hundreds of feet because now you're at around 4,000 feet elevation. You are up, many hundreds of feet below the thing, and again, the wind, you're upwind as direct as you can. The winds travel this, straight wind travel this direction. Or you can stay at Volcano House in this direction. At night, when you're staying at the Volcano House, oops, go back up here. You're staying at Volcano House in this area, visitor center. You can, at night look down here as well. It's a nice, they have a nice restaurant there on the crater rim, and you can enjoy the glow. Again, the vents are coming and going, but it certainly has put on probably as spectacular of a show as we've seen since the end of the 35 and a half year eruption. Again, very safe, and you can get your week-long pass. You can come and go on the national park for your week for your entrance fee, and you can either stay in the park or stay outside and enjoy the Big Island.
Do it.
Did that answer his or her question?
I think so. I would be a little bit careful if you're traveling right now anyway, with especially in America land regardless, but yeah, do it up. If you're going to visit anywhere, it's a good place to visit unless you're not American, unless you're Canadian, in which case we are currently boycotting going to America right now.
But Hawaii is a special case.
Hawaii is a little bit of a special case, but
we'll make exception for Madam Pele. Come on, that's Madam Pele.
And
you can.
There are a number of Hawaiians that would consider that to be a special case. The number of Hawaiians, it is not uncommon to find Hawaiians who refuse to go to the mainland, and they even say that. They say that even of Canada too. It's like,
I would be surprised if Hawaii had beef with Canada. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And so Madam Pele is also right. Like, I think Madam Pele was like, I give the Americans this spectacular show, and they give me Trump.
But keeping back to the volcano and not to the Orange Man or Space Carrot or any of those other pieces of Mr. Hanky, it is a place. Hawaii does depend upon tourism.
Yes.
And respectful tourists are greatly appreciated. The Polynesian culture and their attitudes towards visitors is remarkable, unless you're a jerk. The whole mythology about that children are taught in there about Big Island, about Madam Pele as coming as an old woman to your village, and you show the villages that show her hospitality, where she asks for water and they give her food and have her sit down and have a meal and so forth, they get spared, and the ones that are inhospitable, they get covered with lava. That's sort of the mythos, much like, North Americans have Santa Claus, and you get a coal or you get a present in your stocking. That's the kind of the same
Santa Claus.
And then you'll see, if you're there and you encounter Hawaiians who are coming up to Halima'au to pay their respects. They come from their village. They will bring, wrapped in tea leaf, various tokens from their village, and it could be like a baby tooth from a child. It could be a piece of pottery of a significance, object of significance. They present it to Madam Pele as an offering. They don't throw it in. They sit it there, and you'll see in some of the spots these little offerings presented. And if you talk to them, they say, "Yeah, we know it's a volcano, but this is our tradition too."
You're allowed to have both. You're allowed to have both.
Oh, and they'll say, "You guys have your Easter Bunny and your Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus. We have our Madam Pele, so just give it to us, right?" And again, as long as you're respectful, the Polynesian culture is very gracious. very hospitable. You show a little bit of interest, and there you get the food. There is marvelous. The apple, bananas. They have real bananas there, not those green things that you get in the store, but real bananas of many different varieties. Papayas,
Wow. Okay.
guava, and all these other tropical things. It just is a marvelous area, and if you get invited to one of their feasts that they make, it's very similar to. I mean, Maanyaa, I don't know if you went to any of the Maori events when you were in New Zealand.
I have. Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
And
I
are
have
those
been
fun?
lucky. Yes. Sorry?
Yeah, those are fun. Those are marvelous, and the food there is just
Yes, they are marvelous,
extraordinary.
and people are also very nice. And if you're respectful to them, they will be respectful to you. Like Landon always repeats, don't be a jerk. And yeah, don't be a know-it-all, condescending jerk, and you will get the best from them. And yeah,
And
also maybe
you
don't
know,
overstay your welcome.
There is a question in chat
yes.
about volcano related. Does Landon know anything about the Mexican volcano that erupted this month?
Oh, yes, Mexico has, and we didn't, by the way, because of time, we didn't do the number of volcanoes erupting. But
Yeah.
there's a volcano in Mexico that's kind of continuously erupting. It is probably not quite as active as Kilauea, but it is one of the common things going. It 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 occasionally has gas events that can create create problems with air quality, but it is one of those common volcanoes. I'm looking at right now. By the way, right now we have only 45 volcanoes erupting on the planet Earth right now. It's only 45. It's usually around in the 50s, high 50s, but it's only 45. Last calendar year, 2024, 64 volcanoes erupted.
Oh,
on an average,
nice.
on average, around 40, 40 to 50 of them were erupting at one time.
Yes, that's higher, isn't it? It's higher than
Well,
the
I mean,
average, isn't
for
it?
the number of volcanoes that had erupted, right?
Yeah.
If you look over the last since 2010, there's been 80 eruptions, 80 volcanoes that erupted. So that sort of tells you that the volcanoes that do erupt, most of them are pretty continuous in their in their set. Now, in looking at what's happening with certainly there are volcanic eruptions occurring in Mexico there's one going on right now in Mexico. And if I look at the list here, Central Mexico, and I forget the name of that particular one. It begins with a P, and it's currently erupting. It has, it had about 50 years of being dormant.
I do not know how to pronounce this, but it's spelled Popocate with an accent Petl.
Yeah, Popo is the sort of the short name for it.
Popo is a nice nickname.
Mr. Popo!
We don't want to butcher the full name.
That's how it's spelled. I do not know how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try.
So if I'll share things again. Here, look at this is the eruptions of Popo, and you can see that there's this long pause from the 40s to the 90s of almost 50 years of dormancy, and it started stop, and has been ongoing since 2004. So it is a fairly active So it's like it's like Kilauea. It's one of those things that has closed. From the list of volcanoes, if we look at here, because again, I didn't. Etna's currently erupt in Italy and Stromboli. They're always kind of constantly erupting. Iceland doesn't have any right now, and in Africa we have, of course, the Ethiopian volcano. Barren Island has started again in the Indian Ocean, and Congo has its 2 volcanoes erupting. Indonesia has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 volcanoes erupting. And Indonesia's usually got multiples of that there. If we look over here, South America, the 2 in Ecuador, the 1 in Peru, the 1 in Chile there. This is a nice one. This particular volcano here is a nice one to see. If you fly, oops, go back high degree here. If you fly down along the region over here, you'll see it's been erupting since mid-December. It's got a nice wide caldera, and it's worth looking from a map standpoint. Let me zoom out here. You can see that it's where it's located. So
And
you
how
fly
safe?
down.
How safe is this volcano, do you think? And how well is it tracked?
It is not. It's not. It's an explosive type eruption, so it tends to go boom. So it is a place where you probably want to be at a very great distance. I mean, the lava is colder. It's acidic. Tends to have high sulfur. Tends to have the sticky bits in it.
Is that because it's a different type of volcano than Pele?
Yes, it is not. It's not the shield volcanoes that have the basalt, the very high temperature, thin oceanic, crust, high temperature, low sulfur stuff. It is low temperature, high stuff. It is averaging. The solid oxide is running around 600 tons per day, but it also has cases where it'll plug up, build up pressure, and go bang. And so it's what we call a cranky volcano. That's an example in Chile. We have South Sandwich Islands, and of course Mount Erebus in Antarctica is one of the ones that's one of the most active volcanoes going. You can see thermal wise, it's got one of the largest lava pits in the world. It's currently erupting.
Oh, okay.
The biggest challenge is getting up to this area. Right, this is near McMurdo, and it has lots of earthquakes. So the ice is not stable, and it's got these thermals that'll erupt out of the ice. It's a hazardous place to go to. So, also one of my favorites. Sad.
It would be.
Of course,
Landon
the
likes
most perilous one.
Yeah, Landon likes to live on the edge.
Yeah.
Of the Earth, i.e. Antarctica.
Kamchatka in Russia has 3 active volcanoes right now going on. Girl Island, Japan has 3. Iwo Jima, the site of the famous World War II battle, has a volcano that's erupting right now. If we look at what's happening in Iwo Jima, it is a ongoing eruption. It's currently got gas there. The summit it's got a big strong uplift, and it's really at the top of the island where this occurred. It's near where the battle site was. And the famous flag planting thing. So Japan has 1, 2, 3. Philippines has 1, and those are kind of the major ones. These are other ones are in various states of eruption. And of course, we have up here in Pacific Ocean, we have Kilauea, of course. Galapagos Island has a volcano. A couple in there is in Vanuatu, Tonga, Samoa, Samoan Islands, and Papua New Guinea.
There's so many.
So-
The Earth is so freaking active. So active. Just jiggling, wiggling, spinning,
Not as-
wheeling, dealing.
Not as active as the dwarf planet Io going around Jupiter, but it's active. Any other comments or questions from the chat?
No, I think everybody's pretty much all caught up, but April just said, "Don't say it's got gas, or the U.S. will try to topple its government."
Yes, that is true. And of course, that's April with Y. You have to put in enough
April with a
Ys.
Y, specifically.
Lots of
Who is now a mod on the channel. Thank you so much for volunteering to help us out, because we're gonna get so many people trolling the Volcano show. We should probably look to wrap it up there. It is Lexington night, so I'll be off to go do Star Wars over on Top Hats Off. But I know these guys have stuff that they're up to, and I want to give them time to talk about that a little bit before we go. But also, thanks for joining us. Maanyaa, and Landon.
Any predictions for next month?
I have my brain has no brain today. I couldn't predict the ice melting in a room temperature living room. I guess. I have no brain.
So Chesh has brain fart. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's continuous, it's long, it's moist.
So we're talking about what will be like at the beginning of March. And my prediction is that Madam Pele will continue to have these off again, on again eruptions.
Hot flashes.
And in March, we'll have another month of these. Well, it started here and stopped here and started here and stop. That's a bold prediction because...
Did I say Star Wars? I told you my brain's not working.
Chesh said Star Wars, and all those Trekkies are howling with rage.
And me.
and Chesh, when you're on Top Hats Off for Lexington with Star Trek, I expect you to have a penance.
I'm gonna be publicly flogging myself.
Please reference saying, I apologize to the Star Trek universe for confusing with that other piece of thing that people
Landon
who were involved in that franchise are too embarrassed to be part of. So Maanyaa, put that in predictions. Chesh, we predict that Chesh will learn the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars.
Hopefully my brain turns on by next month.
So I'm predicting we'll have a bunch of on again eruptions as Madam Pele continues to pour out lava.
I'll be doing Star Wars while everybody else is playing Star Trek.
Maanyaa, I'll say that the eruption will be more off than on, but I think it'll be ongoing. Maanyaa, what do you think?
I would say she's gonna go quiet.
Oh, you're gonna go quiet.
She's gonna settle down for March.
Okay.
That's what.
Settling down in March.
Settle down like Maanyaa is settling down on the continent.
You do realize Maanyaa settling down on the is going to be her having all of her stuff together so she can start being making content on the internet again, which is just more explosions.
Oh, and is Dr. Proton, has Dr. Proton settled into a energy wall niche and
he has. He is since I've started work, there's a schedule. So his eating food is on schedule because of that, and he has settled in it quite nicely. He's right now under my table, snoozing away. So he's fine. And I'm glad that he settled in. But he's gotten a little more greedy. I am to blame, obviously, for that, of course. But he, no problems, no health problems, nothing. And I'm really, yeah. So well.
I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Stop, forgive me.
I am. Yes, I do expect an apology because I'm watching the Lexington.
Oh,
I do expect an apology.
That's not gonna work. All right.
No, Chesh, this is how when you make a faux pas like this is how you you show opinions by acknowledging rather than.
She's red in the face. Look at her. She's gone red.
I mean, seriously, I had an oopsie where I rebooted 131,000 computers with one button press.
Whoops.
And what I do, I went to my interns and said, all those procedures I make you go through, I didn't follow them, and look what happened.
Just no amount of apologies will absolve your sins. Jesus Christ.
But yes, so do put as part of her predictions that she will learn the difference between Star Trek and Torah. Any other predictions from the chat? What will be happening in March?
Looks like there's foreshadowing. There is the government toppling it. Sean says that they are erupting volcanic with rage right now. And that I need to get a top hat ready for my formal apology. Do I need to get a ukulele too?
And does April have any? April usually has predictions. Do you have any predictions?
Not yet. We gotta wait for chat to catch up. So, chat, if you guys got predictions, we'll write them down and we'll see who's right and who's wrong and who's brain dead. It's me. I'm brain dead.
Yeah. Now, my prediction that this thing that's been going on since Christmas Eve, that'll still have start stop, but again, I say it's going to be more starting than stopping. That's a pretty bold prediction, because if you're doing historically, you might think that by mid February it'll go quiet again for some number ones. So we'll see. Maanyaa, I think you said that it's going to go quiet.
Yeah,
right?
She's gonna go quiet. She's gonna settle down now. She's like, yeah, I had my dance. Your eyes are on me now again, so nothing.
Now you're watching. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
All right. You had your chance. There's no other predictions. What are you guys doing the rest of this month?
I'm just having fun. I'm looking at people explode on internet. Some people who have got a lot of shit coming their way, legally, if I might dare say, legally. So I'm having fun with that. Plus, I've started a new job. I am settling in quite well in it, and I'm looking forward to excelling in it, hopefully. And my diploma, the next semester of my diploma is also starting, so you will see more disjointed tweets about my assignments and the word count in that assignments on Twitter soon. So be ready for that, or ignore that.
On Blue Sky, you mean, because fuck Twitter.
Yeah, fuck Twitter. On Blue Sky. So yeah, I'm looking forward.
I got you,
to the
fam.
coming months.
Yeah.
April did put in a prediction at the last second. I predict that Pele will just play for a while and then take a nap.
Okay, so similar to Maanya's.
So it's so Pele's gonna keep doing what Landon was saying until March, and then by March she's gonna be napping, I think is what she's saying. If I'm interpreting that correctly, please.
Yes, I think that's what I would say as well.
Feel free to leave comments, by the way. You can leave a comment instead of in live chat, and we'll still track that as well if you want to leave a comment down below as well. Sorry, Landon, go ahead. What are you up to?
So the International Obfuscated C Code Contest, the 40th anniversary, which is in a pending state right now, will go live, if everything goes according to plan, on the 19th of February at 23:19:17.1375 UTC. So in other words, late on February 19th UTC time. It'll be open for about 3 months, and people can get their obfuscated C in order. So of course, I have to finish up some last minute things, but we're excited about this 40th anniversary contest and what people might do programming wise. International Obfuscated C Code Contest, IOCCC.org. You learn all about it.
Okay, hopefully I typed that out correct. IOCCC.org. In the chat.
Yes. Yes. That is correct.
Yeah, enjoy. Enjoy Fib.
And
Thank you
we
so
also
much.
have,
No?
we'll have a tavern coming up, don't we? As well?
We have a tavern at the end of the month on the 22nd.
Or-
It is technically
Great.
Debate Pub. Debate Pub. It's right there in the corner, right there, that thing.
All right.
That's our news show. If you like news and politics and want to actually listen to us pontificate and talk about world stuff, again, we will have to touch on America, but we will not only talk about America like a lot of shows tend to do. Unfortunately, there's no escaping America right now.
I sincerely apologize on behalf of my obnoxious roommates making noise downstairs of our nice folks upstairs. Canada looks spectacular with the snow-covered Cascades looking out there, nice and peaceful. There is currently no tariff for looking at Canadian mountains.
We're gonna tax your windows, Landon. So there's a tavern on the 22nd. I believe we start at 6:30 Eastern time, which is my time. So if that's a different time for you, figure it out. I believe in you.
And last but not least, be very careful when you say the word "what."
Oh no! On Wednesday, our next debate hub is on this coming Wednesday, and I have a climate. I have a meteorologist coming on to talk to us a little bit about climate change. So that'll be good.
Nice.
If you want to help support the channel, please like and share. And if you know somebody who thinks volcanoes are fake or stupid, send this video to them. I'd love to talk to somebody who thinks volcanoes aren't real. It'd be really funny. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're gonna get on out of here. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Or is that the right music?